From the 1011 Now Alert Center, this is Morning Pulse.
Good morning. This is Craig Allison with your Morning Pulse for Tuesday, January 20th. I imagine it's going to be feeling like more of a Monday following the holiday weekend. But before we get into our news headlines, let's get into our question of the day. 2/3 of adults say they love doing this in the winter, but 20% say they hate it. What is it? Now, before I get to this answer, I don't have a time limit here. I can kind of lengthen things out. I hate this question of the day. There's no joke about that. I hate this question of the day. We have kids returning to school, and we got 2/3 of adults saying they love to do this in the winter, but 20% say they hate it. It's got a fraction, it's got a percentage. It doesn't add up to 100. And it doesn't make any sense math-wise. I already roasted my producers about this. Doesn't make any sense at all. And on top of that, I told Megan Conway that I got question of the day right yesterday. She doesn't believe me. Be sure to email her, letting her know I did get question of the day right yesterday. So that's, I don't have a time limit on this show. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. But anyways, I'll reread it. 2/3 of adults say they love doing this in the winter, but 20% say they hate it. What is it? The answer is snowball fights. So there you have it. I didn't even really care about my answer. I just needed to point out how bad this question was today. Anyways, let's get to more serious stuff, into our news headlines this morning. Anti-ICE protesters interrupted service at a St. Paul, Minnesota church Sunday. Demonstrators said they were there to protest a top ICE official in the Twin Cities, who apparently also serves as a pastor. Within hours, the Justice Department announced an investigation into the protesters. The demonstration was another example of growing tensions in Minnesota, coming as the Pentagon orders roughly 1,500 active duty soldiers to prepare for possible deployment to the state. Now to your local headlines. In Nebraska this morning, thousands in Lexington are now officially out of work as the city's largest employer, the Tyson food plant, is permanently shut down. This decision has drawn backlash from community members and politicians on both sides of the aisle. Senator Pete Ricketts told the Nebraska Examiner last week he tried to encourage Tyson to keep the plant open. We plan on speaking with the senator more about it today, along with the more than 3,200 people that will lose their jobs. A report from UNL estimates a statewide loss of $3.28 billion annually. 1011 will have more on this story throughout the day, on air, online, and over on Roku. And we're expecting to learn more details this morning on a UTV crash that happened in Bennett yesterday afternoon, just after 4. Lancaster County Sheriff's Office confirms 2 children were injured in a crash on private property. Also says one was critically injured and the other less severely so. We do know a life flight was called out to the scene, and LSO is holding a press briefing at 9:30 this morning. So as soon as we learn more, we'll be sure to update you on our 1011 Now app when we have those details. Fourth story in our Capitol coverage. Right now, currently, Nebraska teens under a 2019 state law must clear a civics requirement to graduate. Immigrants also must pass a test on civics and U.S. history to become a citizen. Now, a bipartisan group of state senators is wanting something similar for new members of the legislature. They're pushing for new members of the legislature to take a 20-question civics test and publicly post the scores. Passing grade would not be required, and the answers would remain confidential, but the raw scores would be listed on the legislature's official website and also on the lawmaker's official public biography. Results would not affect the ability of any lawmaker to hold or continue to serve in a public role. Fifth story, and heading over to sports. Nebraska men's basketball has reached the highest ranking in program history. Team moved up to a spot to number 7 in the AP poll yesterday. Nebraska is coming off big wins over Oregon and Northwestern last week, proving to 18-0 on the season. Huskers defense held both teams under 60 points in those matchups. Nebraska will return to Pinnacle Bank Arena tomorrow to face off against Washington. That game tips off at 8 p.m. and will be broadcast on the Big Ten Network. And wrapping things up for your final story this morning, a photo gallery featuring Nebraska women in agriculture is on display at UNL's Innovation Campus right now. On the second floor of the NIC building, 78 portraits are hung up in the hallway showing women who work in the state's largest industry. Photos were taken by renowned photographer John Noltner at the 2024 Nebraska Women in Agriculture Conference. Each portrait is paired with the subject's response to the question, "What has called you to this work?" Traveling gallery will be free and open to the public from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., and it opened on January 8th and runs until February 24th. You can listen to audio interviews with some of the women photographed, and we have that link on this story at 1011now.com. So, a lot of updates to keep in touch with us today throughout the day as we get those updates to you. So be sure to stick with us at 1011now.com and our 1011 app. But that's going to do it for your morning pulse. We'll throw things to our 7-day before tossing things over to Brandon Rector. Again, another frigid start to the day.
Good Tuesday morning. Meteorologist Brandon Rector with you in the 1011 Severe Weather Center. It will be partly to mostly cloudy this morning, then mostly cloudy to maybe even cloudy this afternoon. There is a 20% chance of some snow showers in northeastern Nebraska, but the better chance will be into portions of South Dakota, Minnesota, and Iowa. Winds picking up generally out of the south today about 5 to 15 miles per hour. Our clouds should decrease as we make our way through this evening. Temperatures at noon in the low 20s to mid-40s. At 4, it's around 30 to 55 across the state, warmest in the southwest. At 8 this evening, we'll drop that temperature down to the mid-20s to upper 30s. In Lincoln for today will be a little above average for this time of the year. High temperature in the upper 30s. Our average high for today's date is 36.
From the 1011 Now Alert Center, this is Morning Pulse.